Positive psychology is really about one side of that continuum. Let me explain that continuum. Psychological well, it's a very simple scale that I've just developed for this talk. Psychological well-being. You can either feel totally negative about yourself, and that's not a very good place to be, or you can feel totally positive about yourself and the world. Simple scale. And there are all kinds of places in between. I've just given them nominal names. Now, traditional psychology was concerned with that part of the scale. It's called the disease model of psychology. They were really all about, this person is damaged or whatever, how do we make them better? That's where psychology came from. Very, very important it was too. But it was particularly into getting people who are very totally negative, at least to the point where maybe we got them to the point of being marginally positive. Great. And that for a lot of people was a very big move. Positive psychologists said, yeah, okay, that's all very well, but what about all those people who aren't totally to the left of that scale? They may be just there. They may be neither negative or positive or slightly marginally positive. What have we got for them? Answer, nothing. So, positive psychology was developed to move on to go to more to the totally positive, helping people to flourish. You may have heard that word, flourishing. In fact, Martin Seligman, who's the guru of this, published a book called Flourishing. Because this is Professor Martin Seligman. He's, if you like, the father of positive psychology. He's an American psychologist. He was previously the chairman of the American Psychological Association. So he was a bigwig. Said, hang on a minute. We need to push psychology into another area. We need to look at how to make people feel good about themselves, to flourish, to be at that right-hand side of that scale. Not just to make people feel okay. Can we make people feel great? Wonderful about themselves? That was the question he started to try and answer. And he believes he's answered it. So I'm going to give you his formula now, if you didn't know it already, about how we become wonderfully happy and self-fulfilled. Now, he's a scientist. He's tested this on hundreds, thousands of people. And he reckons he's cracked it. And let me give you his formula if you didn't know it already. It's called PERMA, and I'll say why. It's initials. It's an acronym. And it's a formula for happiness and personal fulfillment. So let me give it to you. The P stands for positive emotions. He says, part of being happy and fulfilled is to remind yourself about all those positive times you've had. People often do the opposite. They concentrate on all the bad things. Wouldn't it be useful if we concentrated on all the positive? I'll go into this in a bit more detail in a minute. All the positive memories that we have when things were going well. Wouldn't it be useful if we thought about those rather than those times when things went less well? Make sense? He also said the E for engagement is to be happy and fulfilled, you need to engage in your life. You need to be a part of it. You need to take it by the horns, if you like. Not be an observer, but to be a participant. So engagement, he said, is very, very important. Okay, I must say I probably agree with him. The R stands for relationships. We are social beings. Relationships, family, friends, lovers, or whatever, are very important to us. So that's something else that's important. We must nurture our relationships, and that has a role in being happy and fulfilled. So we're 3/4 way through it. He said also meaning. We need a sense of meaning and purpose and direction, without which fulfillment is tricky, if not impossible. So we need our sense of meaning. And finally, the A is accomplishments. We need to celebrate those times when we did do the right thing and actually have goals and objectives for ourselves as well. Something that we can work towards. That's his formula for happiness and personal fulfillment. And this is what positive psychology is all about. And I'm completely sold on this. Because if you let me just go back to this stuff here. He also said, do we really want to spend a lot of time trying to work out what's happened in our lives when we were 4? Do we really want to spend 10 years in psychotherapy to find out that actually our mother was mean to us when we were 3 and that caused a problem? Might be interesting, but what are you going to do with that information? And if you had some kind of traumatic event in your life, is it actually going to help you to dredge it all back up again? Perhaps it's subconscious for a reason. He says, didn't say forget all that, but he said, actually, that we're focusing on the wrong end here. He said, if we were to use that formula to be happy and fulfilled, maybe some of those issues that we all have might not look quite as difficult once we've got towards the other end of the scale. If you think you're a tense or a bit anxious or prone to low mood, guess what? All of us have these kinds of issues. But maybe, just maybe, if we were to feel more positive about ourselves and our lives, perhaps some of those issues might not look quite as difficult in hindsight. That's his theory. Now, you can decide whether you agree with that or not. It rather depends on what issues you might have, of course. But he's talking about Joe Average here. He's not talking about the psychotic. He's not talking about the heavily clinically depressed who may have other issues that need help.